From loving his role more than anything, to not wanting to touch it ever again, here's what Ben Affleck had to say about his future with DC, and more specifically, Batman. When asked whether or not he'd direct a film in the future with a franchise, Affleck said, "Absolutely not." Jeez, was his experience with DC that bad? The actor clarified that he has nothing against James Gunn, the new co-president of the franchise, director, and writer for some of the upcoming projects. Affleck believes Gunn will do a great job with whatever he has planned. It's just that he has no interest and doesn't want to work with the studios in the future. This is pretty shocking because just a few weeks ago, James and Peter Safran met with him and discussed the possibilities of directing a movie. Initially, the 50-year-old actor was supposed to star and direct his solo Batman film. This was when Zack Snyder was still in charge of the property. It ended up getting scrapped, with Matt Reeves picking it up with Robert Pattinson to give us The Batman. That project has nothing to do with DC's continuity, while Affleck's movie would have been connected one way or another. That's good, right? Reeves and Pattinson's excellence not being meddled with Warner Brothers or having witty cameos in the post-credit scene is great for the dark label. Anyway, all of this was because of what happened after Batman v Superman, and the things that went on behind the camera may surprise you. Warner Brothers treated their actors terribly after letting Snyder go. This was back in 2017 when Justice League was under production. The studios decided that they weren't going to continue with Zack's vision because of the negative reviews of BVS and Man of Steel, which is kinda ironic because both of these were very successful in terms of box office numbers. After the director's tragedy in the family, he exited the project and the franchise. Now, many fans think that there's more to the story, and Warner Brothers used this as an excuse to remove him from his post. But I don't want to get into those details since it's a sensitive topic. What happened after this is probably what made Affleck hang the cape and cowl for good. Joss Whedon was hired and made some huge changes. Let's just say this was probably the last push the franchise needed to plummet into failure. CGI'd mustaches, unnecessary storylines, and terrible jokes were enough to make every comic book fan angrier than the Hulk. It was obvious that the theatrical release had nothing to do with Snyder, but people still ended up blaming the poor guy for the movie. Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, made a statement of the mistreatment the cast went through after Zack left. Ben was caught in between the mess, and sources say that he relapsed after trying to deal with his alcoholism. But was this a personal decision he made before Gunn took control? Well, fans didn't know what to make of him getting recast. Technically, Affleck isn't recast yet, but he's definitely not returning after his next two appearances as Bruce Wayne. Like many actors, he probably wants to work on other projects and not be limited to just superhero movies. We've seen so many talented stars suffer from the hands of a certain franchise that it looks like the Argo actor dodged a bullet. Was the theatrical cut of Justice League the reason behind the downfall? It just might be. I say that with no bias, by the way. When HBO released Zack Snyder's Justice League, it received so much praise that the people who hated the DCEU were looking forward to its future. The older fans demanded the renewal of the Snyderverse and the sequel to the 4-hour cut. If you sat through that movie, you could tell that Affleck's portrayal of the character was genuine and authentic, unlike what we saw in 2017. In fact, this is one of Ben's highest-rated films in IMDb with a score of 8 out of 10. And what makes this even more frustrating is that the actor talked about how much he loved working with Snyder.
Ish kind of energy where he's just psyched to be at work every day.
We can never get good things, can we? So after all this mess, Gunn swooped in and made some intense changes. Did it affect Affleck's decision? Short answer, no. He exited the role even before the HBO release. When the Guardians of the Galaxy director was announced as the new co-president with Peter Safran, a lot of fans received saddening news. Almost the entire cast got kicked out of the franchise. There really isn't a nicer way to say it. Even Henry Cavill wasn't safe, and he just did a cameo at the end of Black Adam. Dwayne Johnson fought so hard for that post-credit scene, it was so sad to see it go to waste. And that passion project of his took 15 years to make? Many people would argue with that, though. The reviews and how much it made at the box office say otherwise. The DCEU's future was already uncertain before James was in charge. That Warner Brothers and Discovery merger did so much damage to the franchise, some loyal fans abandoned ship and hopped on the MCU train. So many, and I mean so many projects were scrapped. This included a complete Batgirl film that was in post-production. Imagine if things worked out for Snyder and Affleck's Batman movie was in the works. I just know the actor would be mad. Gunn has presented us with an action-packed slate full of movies and TV shows that is expected to run for around 10 years. None of it gives us an idea of Batfleck returning. But he will be in The Flash. Speaking of, does he have anything positive to say about his time on set for that upcoming movie? Or was it the same as Justice League? He said that he had a great time shooting his scenes. This comes with sad news, though. Affleck mentioned that he has around 5 minutes of screen time. Just 5 minutes. This is also a smart yet obvious move on Gunn's part. The movie will soft reboot the entire franchise since it's following the Flashpoint Paradox storyline. From the looks of the trailer, Ben will probably have a few lines and a small action sequence before Barry ruins the timeline. Plus, we saw his bloody cowl in one of the scenes along with Kal-El's Kryptonian suit. This movie is going to make more changes than David Zaslav and James Gunn combined. Zaslav is the CEO of Warner Discovery, or whatever the merged company is called, in case you didn't know. So Affleck, Cavill, Gal Gadot, Fisher, and even Jason Momoa are all exiting the Justice League Tower as soon as Chapter 1 of Gunn's plan hits off. Don't worry though, you'll be seeing some of these faces in the future. Batfleck might be returning sooner than you think. Ben is also set to appear in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. He'll probably get the same amount of screen time as in The Flash, but it's starting to look very unlikely. James has confirmed that the sequel will be the last time fans will be seeing this badass version of the King of Atlantis. Why is that? Well, rumor has it that Momoa will be suiting up, or in this case, painting up to portray Lobo. Now, this wasn't in Gunn's announcement video where he gave us an update on the slate. We can't expect a cameo, or a tease at most. Jason himself uploaded a video expressing his excitement for what's to come with his future in the DCEU.
I got some really good news. Great news with Warner Brothers.
Ben, on the other hand, isn't as excited. Yes, he's happy with what The Flash is turning out to be, but he's also confirmed that he will not be working under the banner in the future. Oh, sorry. I mean, he will absolutely not be working with DC again. The actor will officially be saying goodbye to Batman in the upcoming release. This is all assuming that his involvement in Aquaman hasn't been cut yet. As for Chapter 1 of the DC Universe, the direction that Gunn is going in doesn't interest Affleck. Yeah, he said that. Still, there's no beef because in the end, they're all good friends. To all the Snyder fans, you can learn a lesson or two. Anyway, that's all Ben Affleck revealed about his future in the DCEU.